Hi there, this is Pat from State of Mind. I'm going to give you a quick demo of one of our latest tunes. It's a tune called Response Signal. It's going to be forthcoming on our album Eat the Rich, and I'll give you a run through on some of the ways we made this track and things like how we process our drums, process our bass, etc, etc. I'll give you a little demo of the tune so you know what we're dealing with. Okay, yeah, so as you can tell, it's a pretty straightforward, I guess, bass roller. It wasn't, we weren't trying to make a BBC Radio 1 hit or anything like that. This was mainly just one that we knew would work in the clubs and something that we'd definitely play every set, you know? And yeah, okay, I'll give you a breakdown of how we made some of the parts to it. Okay, obviously with drums, you know, it's I think you've probably seen tutorials before. There's a million ways to do it, but we mainly work in audio. With this tune, we usually set up, we have like a dummy kick channel that we use for our side chains. So, I mean, you can just send the kick itself to side chain the bass and what have you, but it is quite nice to have it separated onto a dummy track that goes to no output. The main reason for that is if you don't have the kick playing but you want to still have something side chained, you know, you can just copy it across. As far as the kick itself goes, it's pretty simple. It's just one sample, I think, processed from another tune of ours, and you know, you really don't need to have that many. In fact, the more kicks you have in the track, probably the messier the mix down will get. I think the main important thing for it is always just the kind of click side of it, that initial attack. You know, that helps it cut through in the mix and also, you know, helps it to be heard. The EQ on it, well, there's actually nothing. There's just an EQ on here that was apparently going to do something around the mids, but in the end it's got nothing. So that literally is just a straight sample. It's being sent to a New York bus, which I'll show you a bit more about that later. That's just there'll be a group that a lot of the drums will be sent to, and they will be incredibly over compressed, and then you mix that in with the dry signal to kind of give an overall impression of sort of quite tough drums. The snare is just made up of, this is obviously the lower part to it, and as you can see, that's this is obviously the snare that's being used for the sidechain as well. It's going to sidechaining the rides, not a hell of a lot though, it's not a full send. Sidechaining some of the hats, the mids, and apparently I sent it twice. So yeah, it is sidechaining the rides fully. There's a second hat that is just a the higher layer of the snare, sorry, which is just creating, when they're together, creates a fuller sound. Again, like the kick, it's quite simple. There's only two that are making up the entire sound of the snare. And snares, again, are a bit like kicks. You can have too many and end up just with some sort of phasing mess. Sometimes that phasing mess sounds great, but you know, often it probably doesn't. As far as the cymbals go, I think there's like a fill break here that was taken probably as an old break with the kick and snare cut out, but kept the fills. As far as it's sent to the sends, it's going to a little bit of reverb, and on the inserts it'll probably just be a low cut, just a basic EQ on it. As far as the hats go, 2 lots of hi-hats, and they'll both be going to reverbs, both with sends to the reverb. EQs, again, just high cuts really, just to take out that low because it's pretty unnecessary in the hats. Fast cymbal, this is really what's giving the pace for everything. I've got a mono to stereo on it here, so yeah, using it as a widener. So it's a fast cymbal, just, you know, basic percussion type cymbal, and with lots of width. And that is basically making up the drum sound. Pretty simple stuff. But yeah, I guess the main thing is to choose sounds that work together nicely, and that should help your mix at the end. If you haven't got too many things in there making, you know, causing phase issues or just clogging up the mix, then it should work all right. I think for the second rolling lot, there was also some rides that came in, which are just some basic wash. Just really just adding some white noise and sidechain off the kick and snare. All right, I'll show you some more of this, of the New York compression. And it's just a really, really, really heavy compressor, as you can hear there. Completely over the top, but when it's mixed in with the full drums, it actually sounds, it gives them a lot tougher sort of sound. So it's a little trick that we use quite a lot actually. It's yeah, it just works. The other thing is with the reverbs, we always set up 2 lots of reverbs, so we'll have sometimes more, but we always use our reverbs in this way. We'll have them as effects sends. One, it's good for your processor power. It helps a lot in that regard. Also, it's just it kind of glues the whole sound together. If you have a room reverb and you can send little elements like the hats, you know, whatever you're going to send to it, because they're all using the same reverb settings, it kind of glues the whole track together and gives it a sort of uniform sound. I mean, I think when we used to work, we used to put reverbs on just whatever channel needed it, and yeah, 1, it would hog all the processor power, and 2, it probably just doesn't have that kind of uniform sound that is that you're looking for. So yeah, that's basically the drums. Pretty simple stuff really, but yeah, does the trick.
Download over 30 exclusive plugins. Get hundreds of pro quality samples and power up your production skills with in-depth tutorials. We break it down for you step by step, and you'll see exactly how it's done in expert video guides and producer masterclass sessions with pro producers. Get all this and more with Computer Music Magazine every month on iPad and iPhone, PC and Mac, Android, and in print.